Last year, I became my mom's primary caregiver when she was diagnosed with a rare blood cancer just months after I finished my PhD. I managed medications, translated medical language for her. I had to make decisions. I had to advocate for her. And my own sensory system was completely overloaded. Hospitals are very sensory stimulating. So I went through all of that, and then she passed away after a week that was very traumatic in home hospice. Now, I've written more about this, both the neuroscience and the lived experience, in my blog on autistic grief and caregiver burnout, and that's available through our link tree in our bio. So, what am I feeling? Well, there's sadness, sometimes there's anger, there's numbness, but there's also a level of exhaustion that just won't go away. Sometimes I feel frozen. Sometimes I feel like I've lost access to different parts of myself. And the thing with being autistic is that this is not just grief, this is grief colliding with autistic burnout. During caregiving, my nervous system was in constant survival mode. The bright lights, the sustained sensory stress of the hospital, and during hospice week, that doesn't just go away once it's done. And a lot of those moments still replay for me, the sounds, the visuals, the feelings in my body, and that's sensory trauma. And at the same time, I was masking constantly. I had to speak to doctors, I had to be okay for my mom, I had to make decisions, I had to manage everything. And autistic people can function really well in crisis, but it comes at a cost. And that cost is burnout, deep exhaustion, loss of skills, and reduced tolerance for everyday life. But for many autistic people, a parent is a stabilizing anchor. They're someone who helps you make the world feel more predictable. And losing that person doesn't just cause grief, it disrupts your entire sense of structure and safety. So if you feel numb or a delayed sense of grief, you're not doing it wrong. Your nervous system is just protecting you. Right now, the goal isn't to grieve correctly, it's to recover because you're also experiencing burnout. So that might look like doing less, repeating the same safe routines, reducing sensory input, letting yourself rest without guilt. It might also look like processing in a different way. I researched, I organized things in my brain. I'd often be like, well, this is the day she did this. This is the day that we did this. I kind of organized the string of events in my head. You don't have to perform being sad. You don't have to rush your healing. This is neurological. And your timeline is allowed to be different.